Welcome to the Unlock Wellness Podcast. I'm Dr. Casey and excited for today's guest. I'm here with Dr. Mona Vand, and I've been following Dr. Mona's content for a while now, and she's doing such amazing work. Dr. Mona is a pharmacist, but she's definitely not your average pharmacist. She's an expert in nutrition and natural wellness and is a health coach that is dedicated to keeping people healthy and off medication in the first place. So I love all the positive impact that she's having on the health and wellness industry and excited for her to share a story. So Dr. Mona, thank you so much for coming on. I'm excited to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to do this podcast, and I'm glad you enjoy my content. That's always nice to hear that feedback.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So, but yeah, why don't you just jump into your backstory a little bit and what kind of led you along your path of wanting to become a pharmacist and then kind of wanting to switch off that path a little bit into something more natural wellness?
Well, I started off, I went to when I was in high school. I have a Persian background, and it's very common for your parents to kind of push you into medicine or law.
Right.
Like it's just cultural. So I assumed I would do something in science or medicine, but didn't know what. I actually really wanted to be like a news anchor. I thought that would be a really fun job, but my mom kind of nipped that in the bud.
Right.
She was like, "No, you're not going to major in communications." That's So she brought up pharmacy, and pharmacy was kind of a newer degree at that point. It was like really hot, like jobs were, it was a good job market, and she was like, why don't you apply to this pharmacy program? Like once you apply, you're in for good. And then if you decide to change your mind and you want to go like med school or whatever, you can always transfer out, but at least you'll be like headed towards the right direction. So I was like, okay, that sounds fair. Like I'll apply. So I did. And I went to school in Boston, and I did that for 6 years. And the thought of, it was right from high school. So they kind of shortened our undergrad into 2 years. So we just did like 2 years of undergrad, then all 4 years there. Mm-hmm. And I loved what I was learning and studying. So I was like super excited I grew up between LA and New York. So I was super excited to like get back to LA and start my life and whatever. And then I graduated, passed my boards and started working in a pharmacy, and just really didn't like it. Like day one was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Kind of had a moment like, this can't be my life.
What was the main thing that kind of like turned you off from it?
I started, and like, I think it wasn't what I went to school to learn. Mm-hmm. I had spent all this time learning, like, so disease state management the last year was so important. That was like one of our biggest classes. And we learned how to symptoms and what to look out for, and lifestyle modifications and medication counseling. And then my first job I took was for Rite Aid, or, even any pharmacy, because when you're an intern, they offer you a job immediately. So that paid the most money. And I was like, I'll pay off my student loans. I get there, and it's like so busy and so hectic. They're unfortunately very understaffed. I felt like most of the time people were just asking me like where the bathroom was, or like where, or like,
right. Like you had more to give, and like you really couldn't give that. Yeah. No, I get it.
And I also, to be honest with you, I think like didn't realize that I had such a creative side, because the thought of like having to be on a specific schedule for someone else and having to be somewhere really suffocated me immediately. Like I was like, it felt kind of like jail. Like you were a kid, like you couldn't do what you wanted to do. So from there, I was like, well, I don't like retail, so let me get out. So after a year, I found a job at an independent pharmacy, which was like closed door, which meant like we did everything through fax machines. So doctors would fax us in prescriptions, and I would do a lot of the insurance work. And I was like, okay, this is 9 to 5. It's not crazy hours. I get to sit at a desk. I can wear whatever I want. I was like, this is a great job for me. I even took a pay cut because this is fine. But then like a year or two into that, I was like, okay, well, this is not fulfilling. And I think what I was missing, even though that was like a relaxed job, was in college, you're like working towards this goal all the time. You get this like finish line, and then you get this job and there's just nothing else to work towards. You're just there every day. It doesn't really matter what you do. So that was kind of sad to me. So then after that, blogging was like very new and up and coming at that point. And I saw these people blogging on just like health and beauty. And I was like, maybe I could do this and give it like a little medical twist. And one thing I didn't mention, my first friend really, because, after college, I had to make all new friends in LA when I moved here. so one of my very first friends is a news anchor for KTLA, and she was like, you should be the expert that comes on. And I was like, so kind of planted a little seed in my head. And I was like, maybe I can do something different. So, so I looked into like making a website, and I found this woman in LA. Her name's Marky Costello. She teaches like a hosting academy, and she taught branding before anyone knew what branding was. And I was like, okay, this is my thought. And so she told me to like enroll in her classes, and she taught me how to talk on camera because I had never done anything like this before.
Right.
And, she was like, for YouTube, you need to know how to like whatever. So and that was super scary for me because I'm not from an acting world. So I had to get up in front of these classes and like read off teleprompters. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. Anxiety major. But then that's how it started. So that's how it just started there. And, that was 4 years ago, and it's just gone up and down and up and down and back and forth since then. Now it's more steady. So
that's cool. And mom's cool with it now? No.
My parents have finally kind of like, as of the last 6 months or 8 months, I think when I first actually launched my product, which is my online course, they saw me like, something a little more solid, but they're very traditional. Like some days my mom gets frustrated because she's just used to like, she's like, I wish you just worked at a pharmacy and didn't have this stress. And I like said to her, I was like, honestly, I'll do this for the rest of my life. Like working for yourself and having that freedom, like, because now I work 24/7, and it's constant.
But you love it though.
I love it. Like, I'm like, what else would I be doing with my time? I'm watching TV. It's just not for me. Like at least I'm doing something I like.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So no, that's cool how that progressed. So you just started, putting out the blog posts and just putting yourself out there. And then like those opportunities just started to come to you because you were doing what you loved and started to meet the right people, right?
Exactly. And, I had built a pretty good network in LA. I'm definitely in the right city for it. So it was to my advantage, and I had a lot of influential people around me that I could ask advice for, whether that was different entrepreneurs or even people that were in the media that could help push me along and spread the word. So that was super helpful to have.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So right now with your site, like that's what, like you're doing like a lot of online classes. So you do want to talk about like the different programs that you're putting out there?
Yeah. So, I've done a couple brand deals and like sponsorships with skincare companies. But the first product I actually launched was an online course. And what I really did was I reached out to my audience and I was like, okay, what do you guys want from me? Like, I was like, do you want more skincare? Like, what would you want me to really deliver? And they really wanted something on health and how to, just lose that last like 5 to 10 pounds that they feel like they can't get rid of. And like, they kind of know what healthy eating is, but they don't, and nothing's working. So I decided to create a course around this because, especially it's mainly geared towards women, but all the information can be for men too. But, I feel like most people and millennials at this point know that chia seeds are healthy,
right?
But it's not working, like right. You're not getting the results when you eat chia seeds. So what can we do? And that's kind of how the course is geared. It also teaches you to shift your mindset from, okay, I have a wedding coming up, or I have like summer coming up. And I'm like, you guys have to understand that when it becomes your lifestyle, it's not a diet. You're never suffering and you're just always ready. It's just who you are. And that's what I want people to learn, is to have it be engraved in who they are. So they just love it, because I actually love it. And I think people think it has to be something that's like dreaded.
Right. Yeah. Just making it sustainable. Yeah. No, I totally 100% agree. That's awesome. And your content is really, really good. I love how you do present that. And it's cool because like you've gotten to work with a lot, like you were saying earlier, like a lot of influential people. Like, I mean, you do classes with like Russell Simmons all the time. Like how did that come about?
I just left cryotherapy with him. Like,
did you? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy. No, it's just like, I think, it almost sounds, before I even like really settled in LA, thinking like, oh, like, will you see celebrities around here? But you really do. It's like, I met him out at a party one day, like on a Sunday, or you'll see someone at yoga class, and it's just, because really they're normal people. And I think and people are so, interested and motivated by health now that I guess I can like offer something of value. So it forms a lot of cool relationships.
No, that's cool. And I mean, his transformation has been amazing. Like, and if you're listening and you don't know like Russell Simmons' his story, like go look it up and check it out. But pretty much just transformed his health with eating plant-based, incorporating yoga and meditation. And he just opened a yoga studio, right? In LA?
Oh yeah, Tantric. And that was really cool to see, because you always see people when they're at the top, but to see someone build it from the ground up, you know, like I saw him there when it first opened, and I saw, you know, when there was only 5 people in class, and he was texting me, begging me to come to a class on a Saturday. And, you know, and you'd think that someone at that level, like, oh, they don't care, but that's,
right.
You know, when you're any business you're starting, you have to do what you have to do, and you call in favors and your friends. And now it's, you know, sold out all the time, and it's only been a few months. So I'm so happy for him.
That's cool.
And it's a beautiful studio too.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing point to make, because just because that, I mean, he is who he is, and like everybody knows that, like, who he is, like that doesn't mean his business is just going to explode. Like that's
exactly.
True. That's
he's
true.
He's there every single day. Every single day he's there.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So with you, like, did you grow up eating plant-based, or was that something that you incorporated, like, when you moved to LA and you started learning more about health and wellness, or how did that, like, happen for you?
Not at all. So, I mean, you know, Persian, we eat a lot. I will say we eat a lot of fresh food. So I definitely grew up eating a lot of fruits and veggies, but, you know, beef, meat, chicken, everything is in a lot of our diets. I grew up eating everything. Dairy, especially yogurt. Did it all in college. My very last year of college, we were on clinical rotation, so my workload wasn't as crazy. And, you know, we weren't living on campus, and I was with my 2 roommates, and me and my one girl were like, let's join a gym. There was a gym right down the street from our apartment. And I played sports in high school, but I never joined a gym. It just wasn't me. So we joined a gym, and I was like, you know what? Cause I was always like fairly thin. Like I had a good body, but there was always like my stomach I was self-conscious of. And I kind of just assumed that like, that's just my body shape, and you just kind of accept it. And then the last year of college, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like really try and see if I can do this. So I just tried it. I just started eating so clean. It didn't go vegan, but I was eating really, really, really
just
clean.
More aware of it and stuff.
Yeah, like raw nuts, like no salt, nothing pickled. And I had learned about all this in school, you know, like someone who's hypertensive, like what kind of diet would you put them on, or like someone who has high cholesterol. So I knew what I was doing, and it just really worked. Like I probably even lost too much weight, to be honest, because I was like just learning. But that's when my like obsession and like real passion for health and wellness started. Then I came to LA, and I mean, you're just surrounded by it.
Right. So, no, you're lucky to be in that place, because there's you guys have so many options. And like I was just telling somebody the other day, like just the fruit options that you have, or like fruits that you don't see anywhere else. Like I'm super jealous, actually.
Oh my God. Yeah. See, we take that for granted. Like I drive down the street, and there's someone selling a carton of fresh mango, like cut up for me. I can
so
on
jealous.
The freeway. Yeah. So I definitely empathize with that it's easy. And when you're surrounded by it, like people just always in workout mode. And, you know, we hike as like a social thing. Like, you know, we're like, oh, want to go on a hike and catch up, versus like grabbing a drink.
Yeah. That's
so
cool.
It's just, you know, it's cool. So then I grew up around that. And then I tried to like cut out a lot of red meat, and I was just kind of going for it and seeing, but really, and then, you know, almond milk was easy because I liked it. So cutting out milk was easy because I just wanted to try almond milk. Then what really happened that made me go vegan was my brother was having some heart palpitations. You know, he went to a couple cardiologists, and they wanted to do this like major procedure on him. But he went to this one doctor who was like, this is all, my brother had really high stress at that moment. And they were like, this is all stress. I need you to lose 20 pounds and go on a vegan diet. And, you know, that was kind of daunting for him to hear. And that's kind of hard to tell someone like flat out when they're not vegan. So, and then he told my dad the same, because my dad's blood pressure was high. They went into the doctor together. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the whole family go vegan. We need to be supported. So I decided like to kind of do that with them. Like I didn't want us to be at a dinner table. So that's really what pushed me to go vegan. And then ever since, I've never gone back, and I've just never felt better. And then, you know, I met Russell a little while later, and he's a huge mentor in my life. And I feel like everyone around me. It's so funny because even yesterday I posted on Instagram, one of my great, great friends in Miami. It was a year ago. I was visiting him in Miami, and he was like, I was ordering vegan. He's like, no, I'm a man. Oh, I don't like eating too much sugar, whatever. And then yesterday he texted me. He's like, I saw What's the Health. He's like, I'm never touching meat again. I can't believe it. I'm bringing vegan protein shakes with me everywhere. I was like, cool. I know. He'd already kind of been slowly transitioning, but now I think I'm pushing over the edge.
That's cool. Yeah, sometimes you have to hear it from somebody else, you know, it's just
exactly
to make it like actually happen. But no, I agree. Like I've been about 2 years for me, and like, I mean, just the energy, and you just feel so much better. Like it's crazy. It's really awesome.
You know what? it's actually so crazy because I was working, when I was still working at the pharmacy regularly, all the techs were younger than me. They were like 21,
Mm-hmm.
22. And they come in like rolling out of bed, exhausted in the morning. And like, I never thought anything of it. Then one day the one girl was like, Mona, why do you have so much energy? Because I was like, oh, I've already gotten my hike in. Like I got my juice. Like I'm ready. And I was like, I didn't even notice I had energy. But then you
Right.
realize you just feel great all the time.
Yeah.
You forget, like,
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree for sure. But I know we don't have a super lot of time, but I kind of wanted you to touch a little bit about, I think it's cool about how a lot of your content goes about like how eating this way can actually affect skin health, because I think people kind of correlate all of these like really toxic skin creams to like get rid of wrinkles, when actually you can really handle that from the inside out. But then obviously using, if you're going to use things like that, like more natural lotions and creams like that, the less free radicals, the less chemicals, the more younger, healthier skin that you're going to have. So if you want to touch a few minutes on that, because I know you do a lot with that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I can do another 10 minutes, so don't worry.
Okay, cool.
I've probably had trouble skin since I was like a freshman in college. And it wasn't ever like inflamed acne, but it was definitely like those kind of like flesh colored bumps that like you don't really know what they are. And they're just like, it's almost like clogged pores. And I always had like my texture was off. My skin's never been better. And I'm 32 now. And I mean, it's the one thing I get asked about the most. And I swear I tell people it's a combination of everything. Like, it's not just what you put on your skin. It's like your diet, how much water you're drinking. Are you eating sleep? Like, are you, do you feel happy? Because stress in itself can cause so much. Stress alters your hormones. Hormones can cause acne. When it comes to topical products, there's no need to use anything harsh. That's not to say I don't use anything medicated. Like, I've definitely use the retinoic acids, and like there's a lot of great medications out there that can help, but on a day-to-day basis you really don't.
Right. No, that's cool. And like, I wasn't sure, like, do you have a skincare line that you have personally, or do you just kind of promote a few different ones?
No, yeah, I don't have one that I use that's my own. I actually really want to do that, but
you should. That would be cool.
The only reason I haven't was because I'm so big on like doing things the right way. And like a year or so ago, I was like, I don't feel like I'm ready to do that. And I just didn't want to, I definitely don't want to white label something. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. So I was like, okay, when I have like the means, they can actually do this like the right way, then let me like experiment. But definitely that's actually one of my biggest end goals.
That's cool. Yeah. And just learn the whole process. I mean, no, that's cool that you want to do it the right way, not just like white label something, because you want the product to actually be high quality and what you want it to be, for sure.
Exactly.
So like, I know that people ask you a lot of questions all of the time about just all aspects of health, but like, what are some of the main questions that you feel like you hear a lot, like people are reaching out for help?
I would say skincare is a big one. Everyone wants to know, what like texture or scarring and skincare. I think besides that, it would probably be, a lot of women ask about like gut health, which is a new thing. And then a lot ask about PCOS, which is getting way more common. And PCOS is really interesting because there's not really a cause. It's almost one of those, like, did the chicken or egg come first? Because like a lot of times it leads to obesity, but obesity can also lead to it. And there's just so many different ailments that come with it that women really suffer from, like overgrowth in hair. It can lead to diabetes.
Yeah. So, do you want to explain to people listening that maybe they don't know what that is? That way they get a better understanding.
PCOS is just, like I said, like it's almost like a combination. It's like a hormonal imbalance. It's a combination of all these different symptoms that you face. So a lot of women that experience it don't even really know it. It's not even showing in their levels, but they just have weight gain, or they're at risk for diabetes, and their hormones are off and their skin is bad. They can have an overgrowth of facial hair. It can be any of these symptoms. And then they go, I think that's usually how they diagnose it, depending on what they can eliminate. And really the only way to prevent it or manage the symptoms is an overall healthy lifestyle. Like it all comes down to that. Even with, you learn medication in school and you learn how to treat certain things, but step one in everything we learn is lifestyle modification. You always want to try to do as much as you can. Like, you never just jump. Someone has like borderline cholesterol, you don't need to jump to Lipitor. You're like, well, let's check their diet. Are they exercising? And I don't think that's actually practiced enough, which is sad. I think people just jump right to the medicine because it's like faster, easier, money, you know.
Exactly. Mainly money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's like, you know, if somebody has extremely high blood pressure and a medication's necessary because they're about to die,
right,
fine, do it, but then like figure out why. Like, don't just like, oh, you're taking this the rest of your life. Like, why do you have high blood pressure? And then start to correct that, and then gradually stop taking that. Like, our system's kind of backwards right now, and it's and that's why I love what you're doing so much, because it's helping people get that right mindset with health and like shifting their healthcare paradigm, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that's actually it's funny because I had a patient come in a couple. I mean, it's happened more than once, but one that stuck out. She had like 12 different things. She was really overweight, really sweet, but she was in there like at least twice a week. And then she's getting her medication, and she was like, "Okay, what's this one for?" And I was like, oh, "That's your diabetes medication." She didn't even like know or remember that she had diabetes.
She was just popping them every day.
Yeah, who knows
Man.
if she was just pre-diabetic or what. It actually, that's one of the main things that I offer now is I basically do a complete medication review. So whatever you're taking, we go through it all. I explain to you exactly how it works, why you're taking it, and then what you can do in your life to prevent it or maybe possibly lower your dose or get off of it.
That's cool.
So what lifestyle modifications, what diet, because people don't even know what they're taking. No one really explains it to them.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And have you noticed I mean, I'm sure if they're coming to you for that, like they're ready to make a change. Like, have you noticed any resistance with that, or like are people like just ready just to jump on board and start making changes?
The people that come to me are really like, they want to get off of it.
Yeah, that's
like
great.
They don't even want to be on it. And like, I never, of course, number one, like you can't just discontinue medicine. So I'm always like, I have to tell them to be patient, but
right.
Yeah, they want to know. People care more now. They're like, they're more aware.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially with like, we were talking about what the health, like with things like that coming out, it's just, I mean, documentaries are such a great resource for people that maybe don't want to sit down and like read a lot. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it helps make you more aware of things that are going on and changes that you can make to get there.
I mean, forget about even reading at all. Like most people just get their information based off of like a TV commercial.
Oh yeah, or Facebook.
And I'm not even faulting. Yeah, and it's sad because who's putting out that commercial or that marketing. So if someone's actually doing the actual research, the primary literature, and looking at it and helping you debunk it, then it's great.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So what do you have? What do you have going on in the future right now? Do you have anything in the works, or just putting out more and more great content?
Just putting out more content. I'm looking to build a second online course.
Cool.
And it's just that right now, focusing on consulting.
That's cool. That's cool. So, So if people want to go follow you, what is the best way to follow you on social media and check out your website? That way they can go find your courses if they're interested.
Yeah. So everything is the same across the board. So it's all Dr. Mona Vand, and it's Dr, not the whole word spelled out. It's Dr. Mona and then VAND. And it's drmonavand.com. And that's on Snapchat and Instagram. I'm very active. I'm just starting to do more YouTube because people are complaining that my snaps disappear after a day. So I'm trying to help out with that.
Awesome. All right, cool. I'll add those. And then Dr. Mona, just a closing question that I ask every guest, but if you just had one piece of advice to give the audience, maybe it's something that's helped you along your wellness journey or just life in general, but if you just had one piece of advice for the audience, what would it be?
I think when it comes to like you starting a wellness journey or trying to live a healthier life, figure out a way to make it work with your routine. The more you can simplify it and just make it easy for yourself, like the more you're likely to stick to it. Like something as simple as I recently ordered a bunch of mason jars for all my superfood powders because in the morning I'd forget, some were in the fridge. Now they're literally all lined up, so pretty. I have them all labeled. I have written on there 1 teaspoon, what all the doses are. And now
That's awesome.
I take them every day. I just throw them into my smoothie. And it's something so simple. And, get Amazon Prime. It can get delivered the next day. It's just so easy. So whatever you can to make your routine easier, it will help you immensely.
That's awesome. So all of your superfoods are like straight Pinterest picture right now, right?
Seriously. It's so funny because in school when I was studying with my college notes, the only way that I would really remember them is if they were like perfectly highlighted and color coded because it looked nice. And that's
right.
Like how I live my life. I'm like, I just want these to look pretty. And then I'm like excited to take that.
Right. That's awesome. But Dr. Mona, thank you so much for taking time to come on. I really appreciate it. And I encourage everybody
Thank
that's
you.
listening to go check out her content. It's really amazing stuff. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. This was really great.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you loved my conversation with Dr. Mona. Definitely go follow her on social media. I promise you'll love all of the content that she puts out. And you can find all of those social media links in the show notes. But if you go to my website at drkaseyjohnson.com, it's DRKASEY Johnson.com, you can actually click on the Listen tab. And from there, you can see all of the past guests that have come on the Unlock Wellness podcast, as well as a description about each guest to learn a little bit more about them. And then also all of their social media links, their websites. That way you can go click on them and see all of their sites, all of their social media links. So be sure to check it out on there as well. If you enjoyed my episode today with Dr. Mona, jump onto iTunes, subscribe, and write a review. It really helps me out a lot. I appreciate all of the feedback and all of the support. So thank you guys so much for tuning in.